Good afternoon. Thank you to Center for Governance Studies for arranging such a wonderful occasion to be together and discuss some of the important topics. It is a pleasure and honor to be here, and I am indebted and grateful to Zalur Rahman for giving this opportunity. To remain true to the title of this session, Speed Talks, what I'm going to do is make some remarks which evidently require some explanation, but the time would not allow me to go. However, I would like to have this opportunity to have this conversation beginning. I think these remarks will give this an opportunity for us to talk in the coming days, if not coming months. My title is about Bangladesh-India relationship, too close for comfort. Usually, Bangladesh-India relationship is seen through three prisms. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to question these three prisms, but I would like to raise some questions which might be going against the grain of conventional wisdom. So what are these three prisms that usually Bangladesh-India relationship are seen through? The first one is the geography, history, and culture. The second one is the economic and environmental issues. And the third one is political. And when I say political, it is the domestic politics of both countries as well as the regional one. So among these three perspectives, in the geographical one, often Bangladesh is reminded that it is surrounded by India, which is a geographical reality, so to speak. And Talukdar Manoj Zaman once said that it is the tyranny of geography that engulfed Bangladesh, which is true in the sense if you look at it. But this is a mindset as well, which I think is absolutely wrong. Because Bangladesh has an opening which is called Bay of Bengal, and that is why we are here. Increasingly gaining importance of the Asia-Pacific and practically the Asia-Pacific region, which is becoming the center of economy of the world. Bangladesh should define its role not by being surrounded by India, but looking at the Bay of Bengal and looking east towards the Asia-Pacific. And that is why when we speak of the geography of Bangladesh, we should start, and I would request that let us start, that we have a door opening that takes us to the Asia-Pacific, and that is the center where we should remain connected to. So when we speak of the history, we are told that the connection between South Asia is so intense, so immense, and so deep that we cannot be separated. Yes, it is true, but it is not at the same time. Because let us not forget that 47 did come and 1971 did produce. In 1947, Cabinet Mission did propose a somewhat loose confederation of South Asia. And it is the Indian National Congress and Mr. Nehru who denied, and he said that he's not going to accept it. That led to the division of 1947's establishment of Pakistan, right? So can we forget that one? That is the mindset of a Delhi-centric idea of a centralized state that has created India. And I don't think India has come out of that. In similar vein, let us not forget that the Bangladesh could have been in 1947 an independent Bengal. There was a proposal on the table. And in the Bengal Legislative Assembly, those who came from the West Bengal voted to decide to have a Bengal that is part of India. But we did establish an independent Bengal, if not in 1947, in 1971, with blood and tears. So that is the history. The history cannot be simply based on that. We are also reminded that the history, in terms of history, we are told that, it is a very close connection, right? But then again, let us look at the history. The history tells us that Delhi has always been the center of power, and Bengal never actually cowed down to the Delhi's dictate. There were 12 rulers in Bengal when the Mughals were ruling from Delhi. Right? And in similar fashion, when the British ruler faced resistance in Bengal, when did it start? In 1760 through 1856. And that is the time when the resistance came from Bengal. We talk about the cultural affinity between India and Bangladesh. Yes, there are cultural affinity with West Bengal. What kind of cultural affinity are we talking about? Northern India and Bengal, Bangladesh. As I said, I'm making these brief remarks because those may sound provocative, but that is what I want to do. The cultural affinity between Bangladesh and West Bengal is definitely we share culture. But West Bengal is not India in the sense that it decides the policies of India towards Bangladesh. It is decided by Delhi, and it is in North India, and I don't think Bangladeshi culture has any whatsoever relationship with that. So with this, we come to 1971. Of course, the enormous help that came from India had been pivotal in creating the Bangladesh. But it is the Bangladeshis who fought and established it. We remain deeply gratified. We have a deep gratitude to India, but at the same time, gratitude is often the worst cross to bear. So with this, if we are talking about this history, culture, and the geography, there is a need to revisit and sometimes maybe questioning the conventional wisdom. We are talking about the second point is the economy and the environment. 54 rivers are shared. Bangladesh has been established 50 years ago. Yet there has been only one treaty of sharing the river. We talk about connectivity. Absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Yet, however, the largest country in this region, sharing 54 rivers, have never been able to decide what kind of sharing and connectivity needs to be. Only one. And for the last 4 years, we have been hearing about another treaty, which would eventually, maybe in a day, someday, we might get actually. So, when we are talking about the environment, can we actually separate environmental issues without talking about these river resources and distribution of water? Can we? I don't think it can be. Bangladesh is being, look at the part of Bangladesh. Desertification is the major problem. We talk about the climate change. Yes, sea level rise is an issue, but why not talk about the desertification, which is precisely a political decision. Precisely a political decision. We're talking about the economy, right? And we have been hearing about economy of sub-regional cooperation. If you recall, in 1980s, the World Bank and other international bodies have been continuously insisting on the sub-regional cooperation, which would include northeastern India. What happened to that? Bangladesh has given transit, which would take goods from one part of India to the northeast. Why that was not being considered as a sub-regional cooperation between northeast India and Bangladesh? Connectivity is not only building roads that would take a truck from one part of India to another part of India over Bangladesh and simply be remaining, that is called connectivity. In terms of economy, $15.68 billion of trade have been taking place. Out of that, what? Bangladesh imported 13.70 billion. Only $1.9 billion of export to India. Non-tariff barrier seems to be a major problem in this case. How are we going to address that one if we are talking about economic integration? The final point is with respect to politics, the domestic politics. India has remained an issue in Bangladeshi domestic politics for a long time. Even since 1947, if you recall, the Pakistanis would actually, any kind of demands for autonomy and legitimate right was, countered with this campaign, the propaganda by the Pakistanis. Oh, it is an Indian conspiracy. Post-1971, we have heard that kind of thing. Anti-Indian card has been played in elections and all those things. Understood, understandable. But at the same time, it is true that since 2008, India plays a pivotal role in the domestic politics of Bangladesh. Perhaps a simple visit of former Foreign Secretary Sujata Singh should not be forgotten, how it has influenced the Bangladesh's trajectory of the domestic governance. In similar vein, if you look at the situation in the sub-region, in the regional cooperation, and most importantly, with respect to the current situation whether Bangladesh would become the battleground between China and India, or for that matter, China and the United States, some of the issues that we are going to talk tomorrow. What is the role of India in this case? How does India actually view South Asia? Can we actually not think about it? Considering an Indian kind of Monroe Doctrine, considering South Asia as the backyard of India, will that be able to help having a better relationship? By putting egg on one basket since 2009 that we have witnessed, it is a very close relationship. But is it comfortable? That is the question I want to leave you with. Thank you.